Jesus said sexual immorality is grounds for divorce. But what counts as sexual immorality? Is it only physical adultery? What about pornography? What about an emotional affair? And more importantly, what does infidelity actually do to the person being betrayed? Many people assume infidelity means one thing: physical, sexual contact with someone other than the spouse. But Scripture and clinical reality show us there's a broader picture than just that. And many spouses, especially wives, have been told their husband's pornography use isn't really adultery. So they have no grounds. They're told to stay, to work harder, to become more attractive, to fix it. But the person being betrayed is living with constant anxiety, hypervigilance, checking phones, wondering if they're enough, experiencing deep shame even though they did nothing wrong. That's the impact of infidelity that often goes unnamed and not talked about. I'm Dr. Dave. Let's clarify what biblical infidelity actually means and what it does to the person experiencing it. In Matthew 19:9, Jesus says sexual immorality, the Greek word porneia, is grounds for divorce. Here's what's important. When we use the English word infidelity, we're really talking about the Greek word porneia, which is broader than infidelity. Porneia means sexual immorality, not just adultery. Jesus didn't say adultery. He could have. The Greek word for adultery is moicha. But Jesus chose porneia, the broader term for sexual immorality. Porneia refers to sexual sin broadly. It includes adultery, but it also includes pornography use, emotional affairs, prostitution, any sexual involvement outside the marriage covenant. Why does that distinction matter? Well, because Jesus was being intentionally broader than just physical adultery. He was protecting people from all forms of sexual betrayal, not just the obvious one. And here's something many people miss. Jesus already defined this in the Sermon on the Mount. In Matthew 5:28, Jesus says, "But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Jesus is saying the lustful look itself is adultery, not just the physical act. The internal visual act of lust violates the covenant. So pornography use, that fits exactly under what Jesus called adultery in the Sermon on the Mount. It's the lustful looking he was talking about. It's not a gray area. It's not debatable. Jesus clearly addressed it. In 1 Corinthians 6:18, Paul writes, "Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body." Notice the emphasis. Sexual sin is uniquely damaging. It violates the exclusive covenant of marriage in a way other sins do not. So what counts as infidelity under Jesus' definition of porneia? Physical adultery, absolutely, but also pornography use. Jesus already told us why. He said looking lustfully is adultery in your heart. But what about emotional affairs? An emotional affair, deep emotional intimacy with someone outside of your marriage without physical contact, is a form of betrayal. But here's what matters most. Infidelity is not just about the act itself. It's about the effect that it has on the betrayed person. When infidelity happens, the betrayed person experiences several things: deep shame and self-doubt. Am I not enough? Hypervigilance and anxiety. Is it happening again? Loss of trust, not just in the spouse, but in their own judgment. Spiritual crisis. How could God let this happen to me? Isolation, often unable to tell anyone about it. Sexual dysfunction and loss of desire. Constant replaying of the betrayal. Feeling complicit in their own betrayal. The betrayed spouse often blames themselves. They think if I had just been more attentive, more attractive, more available, more sexual, this would not have happened. But that is a lie. Infidelity is a choice the unfaithful spouse makes. It's not caused by the betrayed spouse's inadequacy. If your spouse is engaged in pornography, that is not a reflection on you. That is a violation of the marriage covenant. You're not overreacting. You're identifying a real betrayal. And you need to know, Jesus saw this. Jesus named it sin in the Sermon on the Mount. He said it is a grounds for divorce in Matthew 19. If infidelity has shattered your trust, professional counseling provides space to process the betrayal with biblical clarity. Schedule a Christian counseling session with me. Comment the word infidelity and I'll send you the link.